Hey guys, I'm Sydney and welcome to Savory Sav. So today we are going to be making a fried oyster mushroom chicken dinner. And yes, it really does taste like chicken. So I feel like this is the perfect meal for somebody who, is maybe thinking about going vegan, they're teetering the line, but they're not all the way convinced. Make this meal for them and they will be there, trust me. So we're gonna be using some oyster mushrooms, of course. And then as a side, we're gonna do like a quick little mac and cheese. And then we're going to do a kale side. This is one of my go-to greens. If you are kind of, not all the way into the kale yet, this one will also convert you. We're gonna be mixing it with some kidney beans, some onions, and some diced tomatoes. So let's get into it. All right, so first we're just gonna heat up our pots on medium-high heat and add a little bit of olive oil. Then we are going to start chopping up the onions and we're gonna add them to the pot once it's ready. I'm gonna add these in here. Ooh, when you hear that good sizzle, that's how you know the pan is ready, okay? Gonna give this a quick stir. And I'm gonna add a little garlic powder, some onion powder, and some salt. This one is really easy. You don't even need a lot of seasonings. We just want the onions to get a little soft, but not too soft. All right, so while our onions are cooking, we're gonna get started on the mac. I already have some water boiling here, so I'm just gonna add my elbows. And these are gonna boil for about 7 to 8 minutes. Just follow the instructions on the pack. All right, so my onions are looking good now, so I'm just gonna add in a can of diced tomatoes. I'm also adding in 1 can of kidney beans, which I already pre-rinsed and drain. All right, we're just gonna give this another good stir. These colors, can't wait to add the kale. The more color in your meals, that's usually a good indicator that you're eating a well-balanced meal. And lastly, I'm going to put in my chopped up kale. I want this to get a little hotter. Now I'm gonna give this a stir and set it aside. So this is looking great. It's looking nice and colorful. I am so happy with this. I'm gonna add a few more pinches of salt to make sure it's giving what needs to be gave. All right, so it looks like our noodles are done. They are nice and tender. I usually cook mine a little beyond al dente because you don't want them to be too crunchy, too hard in the mac. You want it to be nice and smooth, nice and ooey gooey, all that good stuff. So we're just going to strain these noodles out. Okay, now that the noodles have been strained, we're gonna put them back in the same exact pot. We're gonna add a little bit of vegan butter. I'm using the brand Earth Balance. Now we're going to add some almond milk. Make sure it's unsweetened, whichever milk you use. You can also use cashew milk, or if you have a nut allergy, you can use soy milk. Either of those will work great. I'm gonna give this a quick little stir. And your heat should be on low for this. We don't really want it to cook too much. We more so just want it to all cook together. You feel me? So this is where it gets crucial. Not all vegan cheese is created equal, okay? I typically use Veal Life because it has the best consistency, the best flavor, and I think it melts really well too. I usually get this at Whole Foods or Fresh Time, a market like that. Might be a little harder to find, but trust me, it is worth the hunt. We want it to be super cheesy, so I'm gonna add a little more cheese. Why not? That should be good. And finally, we are going to season this shit up. So we're gonna do some cayenne, some garlic powder, some onion powder, some nutritional yeast, a little seasoned pepper, and a little Old Bay. All right, so for this recipe, we're gonna be frying our mushrooms in some canola oil. So I like cast iron skillets for this the best because they just get really hot and you want your mushrooms to be frying at a very high temp. So we're just gonna pour this in here and wait for it to heat up. You're pouring about, I would say, a 1/2 inch thick of oil. All right, so the key to making your mushrooms as crispy and as chicken-like as possible in texture, we are going to double batter our mushrooms. So we have a dry batter, and in the dry batter, you're going to put some all-purpose flour, chickpea flour, and then your seasonings. We have some onion powder, some garlic powder, some white pepper, slap your mama, pink salt, some corn starch, and some smoked paprika, and some Frank seasoning, of course, my personal fave. And next, for our wet batter, all you're gonna throw in this one is some almond milk or another plant-based milk of your choice, some liquid aminos, Frank's again, gotta put that on everything, okay? And then finally some Dijon mustard. So you're gonna give that a good whisk, give everything a good mix, and then we're gonna start dipping. So I find the best way to dip is to have one hand for the wet batter and one hand for the dry. Kind of just, you know, keeps it clean as possible that way, and it's better for cleanup. Vegan cooking, everything is a choice. Unlike when you're cooking with meat, you know, you have to make sure it's cooked to a certain temperature so it won't be too raw to consume, or, you know, it can make you sick. But here, when you cook your vegetables, you really can cook it however you want to your liking. You can season to your liking, all that. So get into it. All right, so this is our final product. As you can see, the mushrooms are looking nice and crispy. You know, a nice golden brown color, looking crunchy, smelling good, looking good, just giving what needs to be gave. So next, we're just gonna plate this all up. We got our kale on the side, our mac and cheese, and then we're gonna dig in. And of course, we gotta throw some Franks on there. I literally do put this shit on everything. That's like the best slogan ever. All right, let me try a little bite. Do y'all hear that crunch though? All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for making some oyster mushroom chicken with me. If you like this video and want to see some more, please let me know, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.